and 10 megawatt solar power plant. Adding to it, he has been graduated from KNIT Sultanpur in the year 2002 and has a total of 16 years of experience. Without taking much of the time, I hand over the session to Mr. Yogesh Sharma. Over to you, sir. Welcome,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you. Yes. Again, thank you to Yogesh sir. Just he keep in touch with me continuously. And this last time when I've been to KNIT, I've seen that the depth of the knowledge and the delivering he is there. So I am here today. I am as discussed. I will discuss only the practical aspect of 10 megawatt solar plants, right, sir? So I am here not to tell you the this manufacturing part, not to tell you the design part. We are only the sheer practical what we are doing here, so that you can have a glimpse of the industry, what how we are working, and what is happening in the field, right? So just let me upload my presentation and start. Can anybody help to upload the presentation?
Sir, you can share your screen. In the center, you will see an icon in which you will find present now.
Present now. Okay, I clicked your entire screen.
Yes, you select entire screen and you just select your screen.
Select my screen. Okay.
Yes, sir. In the pop-up menu.
Okay. So is it there?
Yes, sir. We can see your screen.
Okay, fine, fine. That's good. So is it visible to all of us, all of you?
Yes, sir. Your slides are very much visible to everyone, I
Okay.
hope.
I'm just going to start. This we have at NTPC Unchahar 10 megawatt solar project, and this is a project. There's actually two kind of projects are coming in the industry now. One which is nearby the existing plant, and the others which are totally greenfield. That means they are the standalone solar plant. So this particular plant is nearby the Unchahar thermal power plant. So existing there is a thermal plant. I have said this is there are 6 units, 2 10 units, 5 numbers, and one unit is 500 megawatt. So basically, why I'm telling this because the thermal plant used to have a lot of resources and lot of this thing is spares and lot of machinery. So it helps in the operation and maintenance of the solar plants also. And where there are the standalone solar plants, we have to meet out, we have to manage all the resources for that plant. So this is basically the difference while we are working in the practical field. And another difference what we can say is the this solar plant is connected with the grid to the existing switchyard at thermal plant. And those plants which are standalone plants, that means like we talk about the NDPC's Bengal plant or any other plant, so there you need to have a switchyard to synchronize with the grid also. So this is the single line diagram to understand what is the system here. So the solar panels. Solar panels, we are going to inverters. Inverter, the capacity is 630 kVA, and after inverter, there is a dual winding transformer. Dual winding transformer, we have a small switch here in the solar plant, and that plant is approximately just 5 kilometers from the thermal plant. So we are connecting through this path to thermal plant. So this is what this the cursor is here. This is the existing switchyard where we are connecting. So this is how we are delivering the solar plant generator electricity to the grid. We will come back to this slide again as we will go forward. And I'm just leaving this slide. Yeah. So typical data of the solar panels at Ujjahar. There are three, in fact, three important factors are there. One is the open circuit voltage, second is the short circuit voltage, and what is the maximum power output. So this is the typical parameters for the Ujjahar. Okay, it has been established in 2015. One thing here is very pertinent to say about the solar plant, that the technology is very fast changing in respect to solar PV cells, solar panels, as well as for the inverters, which are the two major component of the solar plant. So if you go for the thermal plant or if you go for the hydro plant, the technology is not that rapidly changing as in the solar plant. So this is one string. This panel is called one string. This is a single. Small is a single cell. A module is concerned with the cell, and this all module connected in a string. So this is basically what you see in the screen. This is physically, this you will find a single structure. This is all mounting as a single structure, and these structure are handled, or these structure are mounted together, right? Now, this one string, the number of string, 22 string approximately, where there is 22, somewhere there is 22, they are connected to a SMU. SMU is the device. What you call, there are two kind of arrangement. SMU is transferring the generated DC to the inverter, and also this is transmitting the generation data of the each string to the system. So that data is implemented here. So next, whatever power is generated, this is inverter. Whatever power we are generating in the inverter is transferred to a dual winding transformer. So the mean to say that in the LT side there are two windings, and HT there is a one winding. So two winding are considered here because we are connecting two inverters, right? Am I audible? No responses is there.
Yes, sir, you are clearly audible.
So, in particular this particular plant, there are 16 inverters. So, since two inverters are connected to one transformer, so there are 8 transformers, and one and 8. These are 16 LT windings. So there is a dual winding, 8 transformer. This transformer is converting 350 volt AC to 33 kV. Now, this is being handled through switchgear to the grid. So I will come back to this. This is not now. This is the core part. So what I thought, uh, since we are discussing here the performance of the solar plant, so see there is a, first to understand that there is a difference, big difference in the business of solar power, thermal power, and hydro power. In thermal power, we produce bulk of electricity. Our 210 megawatt generator is converted into units, which is huge. Right. When you talk about the solar plant, to this is put our 10 megawatt solar plant, we need approximately 10 hectares of land. So solar plant, the margin is less in comparison to thermal plant or hydro plant. So what does it make difference? In solar plant, we have to work for the small energy saving, just minuscule things we have to get in the mind, small savings, get the profit. In that way, we can say that in solar plant, the electricity saved or the APC, the outlet or emission saved, or any kind of saving is the money. Whereas in thermal plant, just a small savings, or even if you talk about in the solar plant, the area lighting or the illumination does contribute to the profit, right? So this is the difference of the operating of a solar plant and thermal plant and hydro plant, right? So now first come with the, so in that way I have just prepared my presentation to discuss you on that aspect of every component of the solar plant, right? So solar panel, as I said, most this thing important component of the solar plant. This is solar panel, because the sunlight falling at the solar panel This is the equipment, this is the device which is converting the sunlight into electricity. Now, what are the maintenance practice, and these are the three factors I have considered. For a particular component or a particular this thing device, what is the maintenance practices and how can we reduce the outage of this? Outage, there may be two kind of outage. This is permanently out, that is we need to replace it, and it is going for the long-term repair. Or second, the outage, maybe this is the partial outage. Like if something has to perform at 100% efficiency, it is now performing at a 50% efficiency. So both are called the outages. So whenever there is a outage, we are losing the money. Second is the auxiliary power consumption. Any device or any system consumes some electricity. Or in another way, uh, if we, and the third is from the efficiency. So if we talk about B and C, that means auxiliary power consumption and efficiency. So either we can reduce the auxiliary power or we can increase the efficiency. In both way, we are generating more power. Or you can say we are having more power to use. We are able to transport more power to the grid. So in both the way, these are very important. All three factors are the important factors for the when you are operating a solar plant, right? As I said, one thing is there here. Although most of the things are true for the rooftop solar plant also, but here I am discussing not the rooftop. There is some little difference in the rooftop solar system and the solar system installed at the field, right? So, solar panel. Now, if you talk about a solar panel, you can say it's very general. We can say it should be clean. Why it should be clean? Because this thing, the radiance of the sun, or the insolation, the exact what you call about falling in the solar panel, should reach to the cell. This will define how much insolation falling at the solar panel is reaching to the cell to convert in the electricity will define the efficiency or power output. So now the second thing comes as the second part. How we are washing a solar panel will define the efficiency of that panel. That means if dust is accumulated there, definitely efficiency is coming. If the efficiency is very less, but now you come to the second step, the dust is deposited. We have cleaned it, but we have not effectively cleaned it. Or we have very effectively cleaned it, but we have consumed a lot of electricity, a lot of water in cleaning it. In both the cases, we are using it. So it is very important that how we are washing or how we are cleaning the solar panel. Nowadays, this robotic cleaning is a very popular term, but there are some concerns. As in this particular plant, we do not have robotic cleaning because all the solar panels are to be aligned to the equator, to be facing to the equator, and since we are in the northern part, so we are in the northern part, so we and the land available with us was in such a shape that the width of the land was not much, it was facing to the equator. So the robotic cleaning is successful where there is width is more, so that we need to install less number of robotic cleaners. Otherwise, the cost will be too much. Now, the washing frequency. Uh, every manufacturer, every designer tells you that in how many days you need to wash a panel. But here we have some very good practical examples. We have increased the washing frequency. We have changed the washing frequencies as per the seasonal changes, and we were able to achieve the more generation as the design, more than the design condition. Simply, it was increase in the efficiency. That is it. Now, third come the talk about the maintenance. This thermal scanning part is the maintenance part of the solar panel. How this thermal scanning is important. Every solar panel is consist of this semiconductor chip, There are two kind of chips, this monolithic or monolithic. So whatever is the case, as the course of the generation, it used to happen that some hot spots are developed. Those hot spots may be due to the physical damage or due to the deterioration of the atom. So through thermal scanning of the solar panels, we are able to detect where the hot spots are directly. So there is this thumb rule for the hot spot. Keep the temperature more than 5 degree of the local temperature. Like the ambient temperature or the average temperature of the panel is say 35, 40. And in a particular area, the temperature is 50, 55. This is a hot spot. This hot spot signifies the deterioration of the panel. So now we have to take a decision that whether we need to change this panel and or we can go ahead with this panel. So this decision is we can take on the basis of what we have discussed there is the open circuit voltage and there's just two components we talk about. This is the open circuit voltage. That insulation is falling in the panel. You do not connect any load. Open both the terminal. What is the voltage load? Now you short the both the terminal. Then what current flows is called the short circuit current. And this is the maximum power it can produce. So on the basis of that, those parameters, we decide whether this panel needs to be changed or this panel we can continue with this. See, if we are changing a panel, the cost is involved. So there is a comparison whether how much money we are losing and how much cost we are incurring while changing the panel. Right? Now the shadows. Sunlight is the electricity. Okay. So the shadows which are falling at the panels are prohibiting the sunlight to fall on the panels. So shadows, how can shadow be there? If trees are growing because all the this solar plant are put in the field, and as per the new trends, we do not go for the landscape maintenance. As we get the land, we do not incur, we do not spend any money on the landscape this thing, maintaining. We put the solar panels as it is. What is the landscape? So all the green areas there, the grass, the trees, any long object which is causing the shadow on the solar panel will reduce the efficiency of that panel. And second thing, if that shadow is falling at the panel, particular the local temperature of that area will be less than the other area where there is a sunlight, full sunlight. So it will cause a local flow of current because where there is more sunlight, the voltage generation will be more, and where there is less sunlight, the generation will be less. This also plot the local circulating current patterns also, right? So these are the why I'm discussing it here because if we talk about these things, these are very trivial things. If we discuss about anything, okay, we need to clean the panel, clean it. What is the big deal with it? And we cut the grass. What is the big deal with it? But all these things in the business of solar are costing us something. Okay, so these are small things, very important things when while we are in the business of generating solar electricity. Okay. Now there is as such no auxiliary power consumption in the solar panel itself. What is more important is the efficiency of a solar panel. So if we talk about the efficiency, there is the two terms I would like to say. One is the design efficiency. Design efficiency is the how much solar radiance is falling at the panel, what is the area of the panel. So with this, we can calculate that this much energy is falling at the panel and at what percentage of that radius the panel is able to convert into electrical energy. This is called the efficiency of the panel. This is the design efficiency. Now, how we can this thing maximize the efficiency? What is design efficiency? If we are working close to that, then we are this thing incurring more profit. If we are losing, if we are any factor is causing this thing that increasing the efficiency, then we are losing money. So This is first and second. Third and fourth, I think we have discussed. Washing frequency. As I said, if you talk about the particular Ujjahar plant, the designed this thing, washing cycle is 10 days as per the manufacturer. That means even panel I have washed, I need to wash it after the 10 days. But we have reduced this washing cycle to 2 days. And with this reduced washing cycle, we are able to achieve more than the designed efficiency. That is the overall performance ratio of the plant design is 25%. We were able to achieve 25.4 at this is sometimes due to this washing cycle. So we have reduced wash. So now what we have calculated, once we have reduced the washing cycle to 4 days, so we have used more water. So what was the cost of this thing using water, and what we have paid? So we were in the this in better position. We were earning money. That's why we have continued with this, and we are still continuing with the 4 days. So this is how we have achieved close to design efficiency. Right. Now the seasonal variation. This is again a very trivial thing, but important for the solar business. The solar plant is always surrounded with some fields or with some vegetation or some kind of either habitation is there, people are living nearby, or it may be in a jungle that no habitation is there. As this, if you talk about this particular Ujjahar plant, there was the people are living nearby. It is in the town, and they are just nearby the town, and fields are there. So as there is a seasonal variation activities like cutting of this meat, and that particular time there is a lot of wheat husk in the atmosphere. So that husk deposited on the panel and reduce the efficiency. At that particular time, we need to clean the panel more actively and more religiously. Now, when there is raining, we need not to clean the panel. It is automatically cleaning. But if there is this is a foggy condition and a lot of moisture is depositing on the panel, the moisture along with the dust get stick with the panel, and this we need to clean. This thing we need to clean the mapping. So these are the small trivial things we need to take care while we are working on the field. So all these things are reducing the efficiency of the generation and hence reducing the money. They're losing the money. Now the second thing is very important as discussed that all we need to face the sun, and as the sun is rotating around the earth, so it is changing its position, and due to this change in the position, the angle of the solar sunlight falling at the panel also changes. So, if you talk about 2 hours, April to September and September to March. So, in September to March, and we used to in the northern hemisphere, because all we are under the equator, so we can talk about the India. So what we did, the angle of the solar light is more of it this thing uh, we call this is if you talk about 90-degree angle vertical line, it is approximately 20 to 25 degrees from that line. So we tilt our panel in that way so that there is a tension. Solar light is directly falling from the panel without any angle. So, but this factor is also not very constant because sun is continuously moving, Earth is continuously moving, so this angle used to change continuously throughout the year. But again, we have to maximize at what cost we have to incur in tilting, and at what time we are getting the generation. This is maximum generation. This two equation has to be calculated. So, yeah, at this particular plant, we have two positions to be tilted. One we put at a 50 degree during the summer season, you can say, and another we put at the quantity. So all these things are the cost benefit analysis while we are in the business, which is more beneficial. Okay, how does what I think I've covered again. I need not to say. Now, these are two factors this must talk about respect to the solar industry. One is the CUF, capacity utilization factors, and one is the PR, performance ratio. The CUF here is analogous to the PLF of the thermal plant. PLF is the plant load factor. So here this is analogous to the CUF. So CUF is what we have generated. That means what we have actual energy generated divided by the 365 year is taken because we are talking about the yearly CUF. You can talk about this thing, the day CUF also. 365 into 24 hours into installed capacity. So this particular parameter will tell me how much I have generated and how much it was designed to be generated. Right. So see this 24. 24 is a 24 hour, and you usually just see this, how much solar radiation insolation we get. It usually start 6 in the morning, and the solar sets in approximately 6 in the evening. In the sorry, in the this is summer time, and on an average, if we go for throughout the year, we get the solar rise, and this is at time approximately there's a 10 hours. So, in 24 out of 24 hours, we are getting on an average 10 hours solar radiance. So this capacity utilization factor in most of the plant, you will get discount reduced to approx 25%, not more than that. Second is the performance ratio. What is performance ratio? Performance ratio is the energy falling at the solar panel and how much we are able to convert that energy. Oh, okay. This equation will define this is the measured energy. Again, the actual power we have generated divided by the solar radiance. Solar irradiance is measured in kilowatt hour per meter square into the panel active area of the module, depending on the size, into the efficiency. In our case, the efficiency is I think 14% something. So this is the performance ratio. So this capacity utilization factor we cannot control because it depends upon the natural phenomena, that is the availability of the irradiance. But if you talk about the second one, the performance ratio, it is in our control, and basically this ratio is demonstrating our efficiency and maintenance practices. How good we are maintaining a plant, how good we are working, this performance ratio will always tell you. Anything, if anybody want to ask, he can write or he can just ask me. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Sir, if there will be any question, I will put up in between.
okay. Or anyway, whatever you talk about, talk to Yogesh, you can ask in the last also, in the last of the session.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. As per your convenience.
So next we come to the second most important component of the solar plant is solar inverter. So solar inverter is basically converting the DC generated from the solar panels, DC supply, to a AC supply. Right? So we cannot now the technology as rapidly changing for the solar panels is also very much rapidly changing for the solar inverter also. For example, as in our case, we have installed a 630 kVA solar inverter. This was the Schneider made in our plant. That was the latest one in 2015. Now this is out of date. This inverter we are not getting in the market. Now all the inverters, latest inverters are coming after 2 MVA or more than that. So this is the scenario of the market. where we are getting within just 7 8 years, this product has been obsoleted. Whether if you talk about the other industries, if you talk about the thermal generators, so they are still using this 1988 thermal generator. It is very well generating electricity. But if we talk about the solar business, uh, this components are phasing out very rapidly. And what does it affect? When any component or any part get phased out, you are not able to maintain it, you are not able to get the spares for that, you are not able to get the technology support for that. And as far as we are concerned, since we are at the testing generating the electricity, so inverter is still such a device where manufacturer didn't allow us to maintain the range. In fact, there is very less chance of maintaining the inverter. What we can do, we can clean the filters, we can check the cooling fans, we can check any alarm is coming there. But once this IGBT is failed, it is costing very much. So in that case, it is discussed always whether we need to change it or we need to change the component. So this is very pertinent with respect to the. This is very pertinent with respect to inverter. That is whether we need to carry an inverter for just say 10 years and after that we put a new one, or we keep on doing with the same device and we keep on changing the components or keep on maintaining the line. So this is again very important question for a solar business. Now if we talk about this thing, efficiency. So efficiency, if you talk about, those solar inverters are designed with the fixed efficiency. You cannot do very much at the site. What you can do is you can just clean the filters and so that the cooling there is a proper cooling. You can keep on monitoring the alarms and you can this thing, you control this thing, operations of the breakers and keep on monitoring the status of the cars which are here. Right. So this is the only part we can do in the solar inverter. At this user end, so the auxiliary power consumption is also fixed for the solar inverters. So this does not vary this thing very much, but we also keep a watch at the auxiliary power consumption. If there is more auxiliary power consumption, there is some problem with it. So the efficiency is also fixed. Now, what comes? How how we can increase our profit or how we can increase the efficiency with the solar inverter. So all the parameters of the solar inverters are being monitored through SCADA. Like for example, if there is some problem with synchronizing of the solar inverter, one more thing, all these inverters coming are auto synchronized. Like if solar radiance is more than 5 kilowatt in the morning, it will get synchronized with the day. And when it is less than 5 kilowatt in the evening, it will desynchronize automatically. So suppose there is a issue with the breaker, there is an issue with the synchronization circuit, and it is not synchronized. It has not synchronized. When there is was a good enough solar radiance, we are again losing the market. So this way we keep monitoring the solar inverters on the parameters to SCADA. Transformers, I will not talk about very much the transformers because transformers are the same as transformer used in the other this thing, other industry also. This is one of the same. The practices for maintaining the transformer and increasing the efficiency, reducing the losses, these are the same. So switchgear, there is also no difference in the switchgear. As per the practices, there is a difference like in solar plant, we have outdoor switchgear and we have indoor switchgear because all the inverters are put near to the solar panels. So those inverters, we have outdoor switchgear, which is this thing which transmits the power to people to the indoor switchgear, and indoor switchgear we transmit this thing, electricity to the existing switchgear. Okay, let me go to the previous slide. Yeah, like this. So this is transformer and this is outdoor switchgear. From here there is a 33 kV switchgear which is indoor, and from here we are listing a small switchyard, and this transmission line we are transmitting which is electricity to the existing switchyard. Now, why I am discussing it? Because the maintenance practices of a transformer equipment is altogether different subject. But what is the important in the solar? Usually, what happens in the industry like thermal plant, if one transformer is out, we used to have a source of other transformers in the LV supply, and in fact, if any HT transformer or EHV transformer is what we are using now, with solar plant also, the maintenance is done in the off solar hours. Like we do all the maintenance when solar irradiance is low, that is in the evening or night hours. So if we are not maintaining that part, like the transformer, the switchgear, and it is getting failed, it is getting out of the supply in the daytime, we are not able to generate that. So because the sunlight is available only to the daytime. In that view, it is very important to monitor the healthy management switchgear. So here I will not discuss how to maintain transformers and switchgear because this is common for all the switchgear and transformers. What is more important to maintain the availability and this is maintain the efficiency of the system is to maintain the spares. This is a very practical and very important aspect of the operation and maintenance of the plant. That if anything fails, anything which is not recoverable, it has to be replaced. So you have to know, you have to be aware that what devices, what components are installed in the equipment. That you have to maintain and that you have to procure. So then only you are able to minimize your outage time. If you are minimizing your outage time, you are doing nothing. Every distinct switchgear, every transformer, there is a design losses, and they almost this is work as the constant efficiency. As far as switchgear is concerned, yes, transformer the losses vary if you are not maintaining the transformer. Another important system is DC system and UPS. For DC system, the concept is same. Now we have installed a charger, we have installed a battery bank. From there, we are taking the DC supply and UPS. Now, what is the importance of this DC system and UPS? All the protections, all the relays which are protecting the switchgear, including transformers and transmission lines, any fault in the cable, they are charged with the DC supply. So if DC system is out, and also DC system is also contributing to the emergency lighting. So if DC system is failed, or we are not able to meet the DC system, we use all the protections. If protection is not there, any fault does happen during that period, it will lead to the major damage. Major damage means again you are losing your money, you are losing your capital equipment, and you are damaging everything. So protection is in that way. DC is very important. All the UPS. Now you talk about the UPS. What UPS is doing? UPS is giving us the AC supply, DC to AC. All the inverters in our plant need auxiliary power to run. Like when there is solar hours, that is, it is a daytime, that is the roaming solution, they use auxiliary power what they are generating. From that they use auxiliary power. But when there is off solar, that means inverters are not generating the power, they also need the auxiliary power. And in fact, that auxiliary power is also very much essential to synchronize the solar inverter with the grid. So that is why this AC supply is very important. This UPS is very important. Now, okay, now come to this. This is how we are, okay, whatever we have discussed here, you could have just identified that we need to be vigilant while operating a solar plant. We need to observe, we need to monitor every small and big factor and parameter. Then only we are able to identify where there is a problem and where we can reduce the outage time. Okay, so this is how we are monitoring. This this C comes from the last one. This is SMU and this is FM. And FM is the multifunction meter, and SMU is the key device where we monitor the current of each string. Okay, so this from here we get the data through this. We are using RS485 protocol. So this data is coming through RS485 protocol because this is the analog data, and temperature, transformer temperature is also analog data, and this is the status of the breaker and isolator. This is a distributor, that means either it is closed or not closed. So the system here, this thing, all this data is transferred to a central system through this network. This is a rail network. This is a rail. Okay. In fact, this again, last loop is not shown. It has to become here. The ending will be complete. So all this data is coming to analog data is coming through RS485, and rest this in every inverter room we have installed a PLC also. So analog and digital data we are coming with every inverter room, and that every inverter room this is communicating with the central server. This server is this thing producing the report and delivering all the data where we, the person sitting in the control room, can identify the any discrepancy. So also, this is not as this is straightforward. We this is produce a lot of alarms. We produce a lot of report with the system also. We share some of those with you. Now, the very important, usually not the device, which is a parameter. Parameter is the device which is measuring the solar radiance of that area. So, what we are talking about the two factors, CUF and PR. They are both the performance ratio. So, how do we know that what solar radiation is falling in that area? How to quantify it? So to quantify it, to measure it, there is an instrument called parameter. Parameter. So again, what will happen if there is a dust deposition at the parameter? It will show the wrong data. It will show the wrong data. That means you will get a wrong picture that our performance is poor. Now the calibration of parameter is very important also, because if it is showing the wrong data due to the lose in the precision or due to the loss in the efficiency, we will again show a wrong picture. So this is an important component in measuring the performance of the solar plant. Then how many parameters working. Now again the module washing system and firefighting system. I have again put it here because module washing, how do we wash a module? I have already discussed. Now how it is contributing to maximize the power generation. See, module washing consists of water spraying and the panel and mopping. So what does it consist of? It consists of the pumps. We are using groundwater here, and another one is water what we are consuming. So two things are there. One, if we are reducing the consumption of the water, we are saving the electricity in terms of fetching the groundwater. Second, we are also preserving the water and we are supporting the ecosystem. So, how we can reduce the consumption of the water? The small this thing, innovations like if you use the high pressure washing is used to produce a kind of a sprinkle at the panel, which reduces the consumption of the water about just 4 to 5 times what is used to is required for the normal washing. So here this way we can save money here, and the firefighting system is there. Just usually it doesn't consume any electricity is not in the picture. But since these projects are in the greenfield, there is a lot of vegetation around this project. There is a possibility that in the summertime it will the fire. And if there is a fire, it will damage the cables, it will damage the instrument, and the outage time of that is again going to affect the performance. So this way, this firefighting system is important. This is the typical data for the module washing system. It is not to be discussed much. Yeah, the data I am showing here. As the vendor has, the manufacturer has told that every 10 days we need to wash the module. But here we are now using the using 4 days cycle. We are reducing, and this is the area lighting. Now, area lighting, if you are talking about a thermal plant, is not of much concern. We presume that where there is area lighting is required, illumination is required, we put that. Do not obviously keep any area dark. But as far as you're talking about the solar plant, the area lighting does contribute major chunk, handsome chunk in the easily power consumption. The reason behind is the area is vast. Second thing, the light is required in the night hours when we are not producing electricity, but it is important in view to prevent the pilferage. Also, this pilferage is a major this concern for all the solar plants because there is a cable in the field that boundary of the solar plant is huge, so anybody can come in and this thing, steal your cables. So this is also a concern area of concern for us. But the innovations what we did here in the area lighting, we are putting the LED light application. We have phased out all the HPSP, the high pressure sodium vapor and high pressure mercury light system, and we are just putting the LED light, which is reducing the electricity consumption not less than 10 times. So this is how area lighting is very much important for a solar business. If you can just think about how much mercury rubber light is, this is normally 250 watts, not less than that. And if you are putting 30 watt LED lamp in place of that, it is giving you sufficient light. So, how much units we are generating through a solar plant in a day? I will show you the sheet, then you can very well calculate if there are 250 watt sodium vapor lights. There are this 200 lights installed. How much percentage it is eating out of your product? So this is how a small light is important in the solar business. Transmission line and efficiency is again the same. The thing is that we need to maintain in such a way so that we are not losing money in the solar hours. This is a single line diagram. Again. Now let's see. This is the sheet we used to generate through the SCADA. All this data we are taking from the field devices, and this report we are generating. I told you there are 16 inverters. There are 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, till 8. There are 16 inverters. Okay, these inverters, this is the generation. Okay, this is the generation, right? What is the reading? kWh. kilowatt hour. So what is the unit? Electricity is called 1 kilowatt hour, right? This much power is being generated by this is the voltage generation, and this is the power generated by a single inverter. So now you can presume, you can compare the electricity being consumed by area like it. So this is very much comparable with the generation of a single inverter. So this is very important. Okay, now talk about the. This is the data. Yeah, this is the total generation of the day. This is the insolation. So here we are taking the average insolation fall over a 15-minute period. This is for this is the insolation. Right? Now the maximum load achieved. This is not much concern. Now come to this sheet. Here we are monitoring the CUF, that is capacity utilization time. This is the
Sir, sorry
basic.
to interrupt. Sir,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt. Sir, there is one question.
yeah,
May I ask?
yeah, sure.
It is from Sangeeta Mangesh that broadly speaking, are all challenges in solar inverters related to efficiency of PV module and converters? What
Repeat the
about the
question.
lifespan? Sir, what about the lifespan and reliability, especially in the polluting environment of developing countries?
Okay, I will address. I will address the question. Right. So this is the auxiliary power consumption. See, this is 492.5 kilowatt hour. Okay. So like the cost of 1 unit is here 9 rupees 38 paisa. If you multiply this, you will get the cost is comparable in respect of generation. Okay. So these small things we need to take care this in the solar business. This is the report we generate through STAR. Okay. So this is how we monitor. Right. Other issues are the security. I have discussed if anybody is stealing, anybody is vandalizing your equipment, because there is a lot of chances, because your country is very big, we are losing money. Innovations, if you talk about, you can go for the water harvesting. You can just prepare a system that whatever water you are using for the washing, it could be preserved. And local harvesting, I have discussed this also affect the performance, and coordination with the nearby agencies, like in our plant nearby is a railway station. So all we need to what we need to take care of, whenever there is a rack of coal comes and they unload the coal, there is a lot of coal dust in the plant. So this is also affecting our generation. So this is a lot of issues, local issues, lot of small issues, lot of this is technical efficiency issues we need to take care while we are in the business of solar power. So this was all I have discussed the practical issues of a solar plant, and I have not gone into the design and technical factors, because I think those will be taken care by other seniors and other faculties from the various institutes. But this practical, what we are facing, what we are doing here, I should be sure. Now the question, like the lifespan, the average lifespan of a solar panel is 25 years, it is shown. But as if you look at the data sheet of a solar panel, they define the efficiency of a solar panel after 10 years. Till 10 years, they guarantee the maximum efficiency, and after 10 years, the efficiency keep on reducing. But the average lifespan of a solar panel is for 25 years. As far as inverter is concerned, inverter, they do not phase out. We can maintain the inverter, but again the question comes: what cost we are incurring to maintain the inverters, and what cost we have to incur to this thing change the inverter. So since we are all here to earn money, we are all here to generate money. So always, all the decision in the industry, all the decision when you're working in the field are taken on the basis of cost-benefit analysis. So if the cost of maintaining of inverter is more, as the case is as on date, and the cost of maintaining the solar inverter, as the industry is changing after 10 years, is more than to be putting a new inverter. So a lot of plants are having this practice to change the solar inverter, not maintain it. But maybe the trend will change with the some down the time. The trend will change in the industry, and we can put this kind of solar inverter. We can carry on the same. So this is how all the decisions are taken. Okay. So this was all I've shared what we are doing here.
So from the there any question? And to Sangeeta Mangesh, I think your query is being answered. Is it? Okay.
Gupta
Dear
sir,
participants, if you have any question, please ask.
Gupta sir, please tell us something about the how the hot spot is detected, because you are an industry person and you are having a experience of how to deal with the hot spot. Whether the thermal camera is sufficient to detect the hot spot, or some other measures you are adopting in the plant.
No, thermal camera is sufficient, but the thing is that the big solar plant are now using the drone technology. They are using drone camera for thermal scanning. Here we are not using. Still, we are facing some difficulty to implement that. So, but still we are some plant. This is a thermal scanner, simple thermal scanner.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Take up the other question, Vijay Lakshmi, from the chat box.
Sure, sir. The next question is from Mehtab Fatima. That what are the challenges you face when connecting PV to the grid?
No, if everything is working okay, inverter is working okay, there is no challenge. That's why we keep on monitoring the inverter because there is a problem in the inverter, like any card is failed, any activity is failed, breaker is not closing, or the supply is not flow, it will not synchronize. Challenges, see, for the solar plant, okay, now let me tell you, as on date, the government has a policy to promote the solar plant, so that's why whatever we are generating, the grid consumes, it takes all from the solar plant. It's not like thermal. Thermal, what is happening, the thermal, they give the schedule, this much power you have to generate, and that chunk of the power we only generate. We could not generate more than that. But here in the solar, government is promoting, they purchase all what we generate.
I think, Mehtab Fatima. So we have another question from Dr. R.A. Patel that what type of protections are required for solar plant?
See, protection, we have to divide in the segments. Switchgear. Switchgear, we're talking about the protection of the transformer. Transformer is a standard protection over current, at fault, instantaneous at fault, and this thing REF flow, and after that the poles, the WTI, there is one mean temperature, all temperature. These are all standard protection of the transformer. Now, people talking about the transmission line, again, all the standard protection. If you're talking about the inverters, inverter also there is a protection of this thing, over temperature and loss of fan and this thing, the synchronization fail and battery status. All these are the things. Plus, protection for the switchgear are standard as they are at the standard scheme. The what is important is that we need to have the coordination with the grid. Like when we are connecting the power to the grid, it has to be coordinated. Coordination means whatever area of the quality that should be isolated, not the whole system. and the questions are all are being realized in multiple levels.
Sir, thank you. And there is one more question from Sangeeta Mangesh, that as an individual working and installing the solar systems, is there any impact on bird migration or habitat observed?
Yeah, there is impact. Let me tell you an example. Here, bird droppings first is a matter of concern because bird dropping need to be cleared very cautiously and it also put the scratches and the remedies as a solar panel. Second is the migratory bird used to disturb your transmission lines. If there is uh, they used to sit at the transmission line and this is shot with the insulator, so it may cause a problem. These are two major aspects I have observed. So when there is
Okay,
a
sir.
bird season, the bird dropping is more.
Okay. So, dear participants, is there any more questions yet to be asked? Let's wait for a couple of minutes. I feel there are no more questions from the audience's side. So, sir, talking about your expert talk, it was really a very clear picture of combination of solar cells at Ujjahar and the single line diagram of solar plant at NTPC Ujjahar that you explained was really wonderful. We understood, and the solar panel